Well, hello YouTubers. I got a little bit of a treat for you today. We are at the Edison and Ford Estate and Museum in Fort Myers, Florida. And we're gonna have a look around here. Get it all on video. And well, there's Thomas Alva Edison himself, standing underneath a huge banyan tree. And there's a cutout of Henry Ford over there. So I've got sort of an order I want to do this. I want to go see Edison's laboratory first. The weather's deteriorating, so I've got sort of an order I want to do this in. Thunderstorms coming. I want to see Edison's lab. I want to see the actual estate buildings. And then we'll see the inside museum part, which we can easily do in the rain. So let's get started. Well, as with any museum, you enter and exit through the gift shop, of course. But in this case, I think it's okay. I'm going to get myself one of these shirts. Whether you think you can or think you can't, you're right. Henry Ford. Yep. Truer words were never spoken. I'm going to get me one of them shirts. Here we are outside of Edison's laboratory in Fort Myers, Florida. He spent the winters here in Fort Myers, and he had his laboratory built here so that he could continue his research when he wasn't in New Jersey. He was heavy into rubber research at the time. So let's go inside the lab and have a look. So here we are, Thomas Edison's laboratory in Fort Myers, Florida. He'd spend the winter down here, and he had a winter laboratory. This is the machine shop part. The shafts and belts and pulleys that brought power down to all the equipment. And over here is a chemical processing area. And plant research area. There was a dark room. Edison was heavy into trying to find a plant that would produce rubber. So there was a lot of plant work done here. And over here is the laboratory office. There's goldenrod plant Edison thought would make good artificial rubber. It's August in Florida, and it is blistering hot in here. Of course, they do have all the windows closed. I imagine they had the windows open back in the day, which would have helped a little bit with the sea breeze and all blowing, but ooh, it's hot in here. We got a cabinet that is just stuffed full of chemical samples and glassware. Some massive and impressive machinery over in this part of the lab. Looking back to where I was filming from in the beginning over there at the other end. So that's the plant grinding room over there. They even have, I don't know if it'll show up, probably not, they have Edison bulbs in the light fixtures. Those are old original Edison bulbs. Oh man, it's hot in here. Here's a view into the plant grinding room through a window. Yes, Edison was heavy into plant research while he was here in Florida. So here's one of the propagating greenhouses. Let's take a look inside. Okay, change of plans. Apparently we're not allowed inside the propagating greenhouse. But I just talked to one of the staff, and she said there's really nothing original from Edison's time left in it. It's just a building. And there's more greenhouse stuff back that way. Quite a garden. Okay, so here is the famous Banyan Tree on the Edison Ford estate. And I'm going to have to back way up to give you some idea of the scale of this thing. It's, wow. It is immense. Immense. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if the canopy covered most of a city block. And it's got all of these, like, I don't know what they're called, like secondary trunks coming down everywhere. This is just a huge, huge tree. And I am still trying to get it all in the shot. It is huge. Wow. So there's the central trunk of the banyan tree way over there in the middle of all this, and it's just sort of spidered out in every direction. Caution, falling figs. Please pardon our mess. I guess it's not in season right now because there are no figs around. And that's only one of several banyan trees. There's another one over here, not nearly as large a scale, but it has arched over the sidewalk and latched onto a mature live oak tree over there and is growing down it kind of like a strangler fig. That's pretty amazing. So here's Edison's winter estate right here, the main house, with, guess what, another banyan tree out front. And then over here behind this foliage is his guest house. Guest house alone is pretty impressive. Built in the same style as the main house. About as big as the main house. I guess you could have a lot of guests. That's built in old Florida style with big wraparound porches, high ceilings, and transom windows to let the heat out and let the sea breezes and river breezes, because you're right on the river over here, let them through for some natural air conditioning. In an era before there was air conditioning in Florida. It had to be tough to live here then. Yeah, there's the river back there. So here's a view of the Edison guest house from the rear as I'm heading back towards the museum parking lot on the other side of the road. Maybe I have time for a quick peek inside. Sitting room, baby grand piano, phonograph, of course, over in the corner. Oh, and a cylinder phonograph over here. Dining room. And then here's the kitchen, food pantry, and butler's pantry. As was common in old Florida, the kitchen is in a separate part of the building from the main house. And they did this for a couple reasons. Well, about 3 reasons. Number one, the staff could be over here working, making lots of noise and not bothering the guests or the owners. Number 2, all the heat from the cooking wouldn't wind up in the main house. And number 3, if there was a fire, be less likely to take out the whole place. So separate kitchens in the area before air conditioning were the norm. So here's the Edison main house, connected to the guest house by a long pergola and walkway. And it's pretty much a mirror image of the guest house. It looks like. I'll take a quick peek. Let me get a shot of the info placard first. And then we'll take a quick peek. Yeah, it looks like an exact mirror image of the guest house. Yep, living room. Yep, looks very similar. The guest house in layout. A few minor differences. Of course, there's a phonograph. Picture of the man himself up there. Library. Oh, there's a library here instead of a formal dining room. They must have done formal dining over in the guest house. Okay. Okay, Thomas and Mina Edison's bedroom. Okay, so this is a little different. There's no kitchen on this side. They must have used the kitchen in the guest house for all the cooking. Interesting. Okay, and unfortunately we're not allowed to into the upper floors. So this is the walk in front of the two estates, Edison and Ford Estates, Orchid Lane and Friendship Walk. Well, they were fast friends, and it wasn't much of a walk between the two places, so I can understand that. Ooh, do you hear the thunder in the background? I had best get back across the street to the main museum before it starts raining on me. So here we are on the Ford estate, right next door to the Edison estate. They were obviously fast friends, just a few steps apart. Ford's place is on a little smaller scale. And we've got the rose garden over here. Unfortunately, I don't have a lot of time to look inside these buildings. I've got to get back to Captiva Island to pick up my wife in a little bit, and it is a heck of a drive from here, especially with Friday rush hour traffic. I may have to come back again. There's a little cottage over there. To me, this looks more like a craftsman style building than an old Florida style building. Craftsman, maybe with a hint of gingerbread. Victorian era stuff. So there's a garage out and back of the Ford estate. I guess it would have been called a carriage house in the day. And it is full of vintage Ford vehicles. '29 Ford Model A and a 1917 Ford Model T flatbed truck. Look at that, with a wood cab. Very neat. 1921 Ford Model T chassis converted into a truck. Homegrown conversion, apparently. And a 1923 Model T. Very nice. Very nice. So what you'd expect to find in the Henry Ford's garage back in the day. All right. We're at the Edison Ford estate, and we're about to enter the museum. This is a very pretty car. 1937 4 to 5 window coupe. I would love to have one of these. It's beautiful. What do they call this color? Dearborn blue. Nice. So Edison's personal Model T. A lot of Edison's inventions around the walls. "5 kilowatt Edison dynamo. Long-legged Mary Ann dynamo. Direct current generator. Light bulbs. 30 kilowatt direct current dynamo. Yep. Various kinds of batteries. Invention of moving pictures. Model T with a calliope in it. The invention of the phonograph. All its variants. Including an early jukebox filled with a whole bunch of Edison cylinders. Apparently you could choose which one to play. So there's a whole wall here chronicling the two men's lives and inventions and works over time. Kind of rushing through the museum, but running short on time. Yeah, there's a lot more to see in here. I'm not going to be able to have time to see it all either. I got to get moving between the rain and the rush hour traffic. I got to drive the length of Sanibel and Captiva Islands. Well, first I got to drive the length of Fort Myers, then the length of the two islands. This place is definitely worth a visit. You'll be back. Now, this place is bigger than I thought. The more I look, the more I see. But unfortunately, I am out of time. Maybe I can get back here again soon. We do come out here at least once a year, so I'll try to get this back on the itinerary again for next year or the year after. It's just so much to see. All right. Thanks for watching. Hope you found this interesting. If so, give it a thumbs up, give it a like. Subscribe to see future videos and press the little bell icon that YouTube makes you press to be notified when future videos come out. And thanks again for watching. Have a good one.